Welcome back everyone. Today we're in the Giants editor and I'm Jewel, and as you can see we're on the 10.0.3 version for Farming Simulator 25. We're going to go ahead and do a tutorial today on how to use the limit to texture. So basically you can limit the texture, you can limit to the foliage and the different functions that you want to do that helps you with painting things down and painting down the foliage and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Appreciate everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe. I appreciate everybody. So what you're going to want to do is pick your little area that you're going to be working. And we're going to turn on, in this case, we'll go ahead and turn on the terrain detail texture paint mode. And you'll see it pops this up. If you don't have that window, again, you just click window, come down to terrain editing. You can click height and then it'll bring it up. It'll put it on that height tab over there to the right hand corner as you see here, but you can technically go ahead and click it back onto the texture. For some reason, sometimes if you have these tabs over here on the right selected and not the one up here, then it doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do sometimes. So be aware of that, because I've had it happen before, actually on the last episode. And if it's here on texture and not up here, it still needs to be up here too. So do that. Make sure you put the right ones that match the tabs. And let's get started. We're going to put the left mouse button on add. Just get your cursor size, this little thing here, roll up or down to whatever size you want. You can leave the rest for now. You can roll on down. You can either make it square or round. We'll leave it round. And then we're going to roll on down, and you see we have this texture area. If it's not open, click this little thing here and it'll open this up to this. And as you can see, I have it where you can see all of it mostly at once. You can lift these up a little if you want to get a little more visibility there. So it's just up to you what you want to do to try to see what you're doing. It just keeps you from having to roll up and down, up and down. Okay, and so what we're going to do is paint some things down real quick. So we're going to start, and also this is where you enable it. Enable the limit to texture or foliage and foliage state. So you check the box, but right now we're not going to use that. We're just going to do the texture layer. We're going to start with concrete. I'm just going to make a concrete circle. Then I'm going to pick mud. Make a mud circle. We got to try to remember which ones we're actually using. Sand. Okay. Now the map US doesn't have the dirt, which I prefer using dirt. We could use dirt, gravel, but I'm not too big a fan of it. But we'll click that down as well, just for example. So I don't want to pick too many because I don't want to forget what they were. So we have concrete, mud, sand, and dirt, gravel. So what you want to do is, you know what you've picked already as your base, okay? So if you want, say you realize you have this dirt gravel here, and then you're like, I don't really need that. Say you had this dirt gravel and it was like a whole sidewalk or whatever you want, and you're like, nah, I should have painted that concrete, or I want this concrete sidewalk to suddenly be pebbles or whatever. That's how you're going to be using it. So you're going to say, I don't want this dirt gravel, I want it to be concrete. So what you'll do is you're going to pick what you want, which would be concrete, and then you're going to pick what you want to limit the texture to, which is only this. We don't want it to go on the grass, we don't want it to go on the sand or any of the other stuff. We only want it to go on the dirt gravel. So we're going to, on the limit to texture part, we're going to click it to dirt gravel, and then we're going to come here, and as long as we have this little thing up here, terrain detail texture paint mode selected, I'm going to roll down so you can see it. When we start to paint, it's not going to go on the grass. It's only going to go on this dirt gravel. And if there's any dirt gravel anywhere else and I hover over it, it's only going to paint the concrete there. So we're going to left click, and look at there. It's not getting in the grass. I'm in the grass. It's not doing nothing. I'm holding the left mouse button down. It's not doing nothing. But when I come over here with the left mouse button held down, it paints it. And that's what that does. Okay? So you can do the same thing with the sand. If you want it to be something else, pick what you want it to be. Say mud pebbles, and then we'll go to the sand, wherever it is down here. Click on sand, and when we paint, it's only going to limit the pebbles to the sand. It's limiting this top texture layer to whatever you put in its spot. So sand will be mud pebbles now, and only that, as you see. Now you can't really tell they're mud pebbles without going in closer, so I guess I better do that. Let's go in close so you can see they're mud pebbles. See the pebbles? Alright, that's mud pebbles. Alright, so now we got that much done. We're going to change this back to, we're going to turn this one off, okay? I like to go back to square one. Alright, we're going to paint that one back sand, because if we take that off, we can just paint it sand now. Okay, I want that to be different for a reason. And then we're going to go back to whatever we did before, dirt gravel, and we'll paint this concrete dirt gravel again. So we'll have different things. This is concrete, mud, sand, dirt gravel. Alright, so now in this case we want to go paint foliage stuff. So we're going to come here, or actually wait a minute, let me go back for a second. Where are we? Yeah, we want to paint foliage. Hang on, it didn't select it, and select it at the top too. There we go. Now in this list we're going to we're going to start with terrain detail, and we want to get our ground type, and we're going to say cultivated. Well, you could do these as well, but I just want cultivated for now. And we're gonna want to limit the cultivated to sand. So the texture, we're gonna put it on sand. Okay, let me find sand right here. So when I do the cultivated here for that, it's a foliage layer, ground type. It's gonna go only on the sand. Okay, as long as you have the foliage thing selected, it's only gonna go on the sand. So now the cultivated is only, see, it's not coming on any of these. All right. And then say if you could do any one of them that you needed. So whatever you got to do, like there's spray type, ground angle, whatever you get done. If you want to do lime, you can limit the lime to that. It takes a second to register, so give it time. But as you see, it does that. So then, if you want to do more than that, let me look at what we have. So what you're going to do in this case is pick, say, wheat. Let's do something pretty. Pick wheat, pick the layer state. I'm going to say harvest ready because we want it to look pretty. We're not going to pick the little things. And then we're going to, sand is under there. It should still be that. I'll have to make sure it is, but it should be. So sand was under there. Remember, we used sand, and it should let me paint the wheat only on that sand spot. See? Because it was sand that was under there. Okay. Now they have the limit to foliage, and then they have this, but it's just not registering anything right now. You'd have to. There's another step or another setting for that. But right now we're just focused on this because we're only trying to show that how you use the texture, the limit to texture and the foliage. So anything you put it on, say green small, it'll be green wheat small. It'll be the small wheat. It needs to go to the sand if you're covering this one up. See, and it only goes in there. And same with whatever one you pick, the big one. It'll only go on the sand. Say you don't want the sand. Say you said, well, I wanted it on the concrete one, which technically you would usually do dirt. But we'd have to add dirt to the US map because they didn't add it for whatever reason. Makes no sense to me. And then it'll paint on only the concrete. So you can see how it works. It's pretty simple on that part. Sometimes it can get a little confusing. If you were limiting something to the foliage, let me see. What would we even want to limit to anything like that? I mean, we could do any one of these if we wanted them. Let's do some, uh, where's it at? Sunflower. And then we'll put it on, say, mud. It's in the middle there. And we'll limit that. We'll put it on harvest because I want to see it pretty. And then you left click it. Well, that's harvest. We better put it on the grow and then maybe that one. Yeah, now it's pretty. We can't see it, of course, but you see where it paints it in. So I'm going to come over there where you can see it. And you can see the flowers. But that's how you can get it to work. It's a whole lot of options, but basically if you're doing it on any kind of sidewalks or the roads you're trying to go back over with the asphalt or whatever you're trying to do, uh, it's pretty good about what you can do. You can turn these off, like when you're not doing those, you got to go back to this, pick whatever you need. Say you need, technically you would want to do some harvest ready when you're making, probably when you're making the stuff that's already ready to harvest. So if you was going to do that, you would put, say, this one on the dirt gravel, this one harvest ready, paint that down, and then when you came to this other, say, wheat, and you was painting it down on there on the harvest ready, you'd have already painted the harvest ready type ground down, so it would make sense. So you would typically do it that way. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to share about this particular setup. I think that's about it. I mean, that pretty much covers how you do it. I'm keeping it pretty simple and basic so that you understand. If you were painting, say, roads, like I said, you could paint whatever you needed. Let me see what we got here. Let's go back to texture and go up to texture up here and then put it on, say, concrete, make some road like looking stuff. Let's just make us like some sort of sidewalk. Oh, there's a sidewalk. Yeah, we don't want that anymore. So now we want this to be, say we want it to be, what do we want? Stones? How about we pick stones? Where's the stones at? Or anything similar to that. Concrete, dirt, gravel. Let's pick something more visible. How about rock? Let's pick rock. So we want rock, and we want it to go to, I believe we painted concrete. And when we paint over this, it's not going to get in the grass. It's only going to paint the rock on that. That's a better way of looking at it. You can see it better. And then it helps you to go over something without messing everything else up. You don't got to be steady to get it all painted. It just saves you so much. It's a really nice feature. You can play around with it and it just keep trying, play around with it and figure it out. It's pretty neat, actually. I like it, and then you can turn it off if you don't want to use it. You can always set these back to nothing, or say the base, whatever you're working with. Most of the time it's grass or something. And then of course if you don't want any of that, you could paint over it again with grass. Just come back to grass. Whoop, I didn't click grass. You can paint over it with grass. See? So it's a lot you can do. These you could paint over with grass, but you can't get rid of that. You'd have to do the foliage thing again if you want to get rid of that, which I showed that on the last episode. But that's pretty much it for this one, for limit to texture. Hopefully you enjoyed. We're going to put this on, what are we going to put it on? Deco. Let's see if that does it. Oh. What are we on? Trade detail. Oh, I know. I'm on the foliage still. See, that's what I was showing you. Sometimes you click off and you're doing it again. It's the way they changed it. you gotta go on and click back to where you need to be going. So now we're on grass and it'll paint over it. And then you gotta go to, well, we were on foliage actually on purpose to get this off of here. Hang on. Deco foliage. That's what was wrong. I was trying to paint this instead of this. I'm sorry. You get the point. That gets rid of the foliage that we just painted down. And then if you wanted to get rid of the other stuff, again, you go back to texture, texture, put it on grass, and you can paint over all this. And that one is lime. We got to get rid of that. So you'd have to go to that. So if you needed to get rid of that, you need to go back to foliage and then jump through all the hoops. Where is it at? It's not under here. It's under the terrain detail. And then where's the lime? Here. And then let me see. Let's go to grass, I guess. And then nope, that's painting. My bad. That's painting it on the grass. That's not what I meant to do. We want to paint it or get rid of it. We need to go back to this, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, go back to the terrain detail to get rid of that, and then left click. You have to give it a second. It's slow. I'll make this bigger so it'll go in one shot, and that gets rid of that. That's what I was trying to show you. So you can get rid of it. So just don't worry. But anyway, we're going to call that here. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bell if you want to receive a notification every time I post a video. Goodbye, everybody.